A little bit of news with HBO Max. So the news with HBO Max still having so many issues because HBO Max is still unavailable to around 70% of streaming services, right? Because for those that are not aware, Roku and Amazon Fire, right, whether it be Fire TV, the Fire Stick, the Fire Box, whether it be your Roku TV or Roku Stick or whatever it is, that makes up around 70% of streaming devices. When HBO Max launched, it was made only available for things like Chromecast, Apple devices, Shield TV, anything that uses a form of Android TV. Basically, it was only made available for Android, for Apple, and then I think also for like PS4 and certain gaming systems as well. So obviously Xbox would be a part of that as well, since Xbox is essentially a PC that is mostly streamlined towards gaming. So HBO Max has just really, I think, faltered in a lot of ways on just the hardware side of it, on the objective side of it. Not to mention, of course, the recent controversy where they took off Gone with the Wind so that they could then put it back on with a 4-minute trigger warning, which I'm sure is filled with propagandist speech and nonsense as well, because that's just the way that the nature of Hollywood is these days. But HBO Max apparently is also now doing something for anyone that is a fan of DC content, where this is, of course, being reported by our friends over at Bounding Into Comics. So they asked the question, JB Augustin, who's a writer over there, asked the question, did Warner Media and AT&T just kill the DC universe for the sake of HBO Max? And it says here that DC Universe subscribers are now being offered a discount to upgrade with a bundle. HBO Max, which is $15 a month, can be added onto a DCU plan for $5. So essentially, if you have the DC Universe, you can now bundle that with HBO Max, and you can get it for a much smaller price. And obviously, I think the end goal of this is, yes, to kill off the DC Universe. And not to kill off the content there, but to migrate it over to HBO Max. I think that Warner Brothers, that AT&T are smart in doing this, in trying to get everything consolidated under one branch, because it just makes so much more sense to do so, right? So it says here, DC Universe has partnered with HBO Max to offer eligible monthly and annual members an opportunity to bundle and save, goes the offer. It'll save you a couple of bucks, costing a total of $12.98 a month, but be sure to read the fine print. After 6 months, the price reverts to Max's normal monthly rate. The deal is also only for monthly subscribers who are in good standing, whatever the difference that makes. Side note, he's a subscriber and found out he's eligible for the discount, the person writing said article. And he says this offer makes business sense and should have been done earlier. Disney Plus launched with a similar option to bundle its service with ESPN Plus and Hulu. Comic Book Cast wasn't optimistic in their news update about the bundle. They consider it the final nail in the coffin of DCU, likening it to AT&T and Warner taking the proverbial horse behind the barn. And yeah, again, that just makes sense to me, because I don't think the DC Universe is doing fine by itself. I think that the subscribers there probably aren't all that much. I think that with the launch of HBO Max, and since HBO Max does offer certain DC Universe properties, both original properties to the DC Universe app and also, of course, the film side of it as well, it just makes sense for them to consolidate it into one. It really just makes sense for them to try and bring these things all together and to try and offer a more complete package in this way. So if you are a fan of DC Universe content, and you maybe already are a DC Universe subscriber and you've been wanting to try out HBO Max, this seems like a way where you can get both. Though I will say this much, it might be worth holding off, because something tells me that since HBO Max, AT&T, etc., are changing their minds every 5 seconds, it seems, I would not be surprised if in the very near future you end up seeing AT&T announce, all right, so that plan's now gone. Now DC Universe is fully migrated into HBO Max, and you still only have to pay the $15 a month. But all that being said, I think that that news means very little to me because I'm someone that, yes, I luckily have an Android TV box. I have the Shield. I have the Shield Pro, which is able to get the HBO Max app. I would say that instead of trying to offer deals and drive subscribership that way, I think HBO, AT&T, whoever it is you want to talk to, I think you would be much better served at this point in getting your damn service available onto Roku. Because the fact that you've now been, the fact that you've now had your app open for, a month now it seems, maybe a little over a month now, and you're still not there, it's insane. And so Warner Media is just causing more and more confusion rather than anything else. Raycore 8, what's going on, good sir? They're really just creating more confusion because the original plan was, hey, HBO Go, HBO Now, and HBO Max are all going to coexist. HBO Go is going to be for anyone that has the television subscription, so that way they can access the content offline. HBO Now is going to be if you just want the HBO content, paying a price for that. HBO Max is going to be everything included in HBO plus extra stuff. Well, now apparently, according to Android Police, Warner Media is now going to consolidate all of its HBO apps into HBO Max. So no more HBO Go come the end of July. So this is the report from them. Warner Media and its parent company, AT&T, is not the best with branding. There were once 3 individual HBO apps, each catering to a specific use case. But now the company is attempting to consolidate them across all platforms. As of a few weeks ago, we were looking at 3 separate apps. HBO Now was for the online monthly subscription service. HBO Go was for watching HBO subscriptions with your cable TV login. And HBO Max was the rebranded version of HBO Go with more content. Not complicated at all, right? On most platforms, including Android, HBO Now app was simply rebranded to HBO Max. However, Warner Media hasn't yet finalized deals to bring the new Max catalog to Roku or Amazon. Again, 70% of all streaming services. Why in the hell haven't you done that yet? So the now HBO Now app on those platforms is being renamed to just HBO. Warner Media told The Verge that the branding switch will roll out over the coming months. Wow. So again, HBO Now is being updated to HBO Max. Only on those platforms, it's going to be HBO. Is that a way to try and get around your contracts? That doesn't sound nefarious at all. At the same time, the HBO Go app is being retired, and anyone with an HBO subscription from their cable provider will simply be able to log into the HBO Max app. HBO Max already works with most major cable and satellite TV providers, but presumably Warner Media will wait until all providers work with HBO Max before shutting down the old app. In summary, HBO Now is now just HBO Max, except on Roku and Amazon for the time being, where it's just HBO. And HBO Go users can just log into the Max app. While the old Go app is still working for the time being, HBO has informed users that it will no longer be available as of July 31st, giving them until the end of the month to make the transition. Still a bit confusing, but much better than having duplicate applications. Yeah, so this is what they should have done from the very beginning. This is what they should have done from the very beginning. So just in layman's terms, this is what's happening. Everything is now being rebranded under just HBO Max. So basically, if you have an HBO TV subscription, you will have access for free, I guess, assumingly, to HBO Max. So if you have the TV subscription, you can sign in and you have access to Max. So you have not just your typical HBO content you can get from your cable box, but also all the extra stuff too that you can get online with that subscription. If you have HBO Now, right, where you were just getting the HBO stuff instead, that is now HBO Max, right? So basically now you're paying the same thing, same login, only now it's under the HBO Max label. Instead, same price, now you get more content. So again, that's what they should have done from the very beginning. I think their mindset originally was they didn't want to let TV people get HBO Max stuff for free because they were probably planning to try and upcharge people for it. Because think about it, if you're paying a certain monthly rate, you might be paying less than the HBO Max rate, which means you're getting more content essentially available for a lesser monthly price. But because of the fact that they need subscriptions and because of the issues they're having with Amazon and Roku, it kind of forced their hand to have to consolidate things, is what I'm guessing. Baxter79 says, and dropping the price, $15 for a streaming service is a bit pricey. Yeah, $15 is definitely asking for a bit. I will say, I think based on the content alone that they're offering, it's a overall pretty good deal, but it is still one of the most pricey streaming services out there today. No question about that, Baxter79. None at all. And I can understand why there's a lot of people that are not buying it. But guess what could help you, HBO, in getting more subscriptions for that price? Having it be available on Roku and Amazon. Now, based on the wording of this article, though, it said that it was presumably Warner Media will wait until all providers work with HBO Max before shutting down the old app. So if they are saying to their HBO Go subscribers that they're shutting it down, again, if they're shutting it down on July 31st, that seems to indicate that whatever contracts or whatever deals are being worked on will be wrapped up by the end of July. So that could be good news. It could also be HBO calling Roku and Amazon's bluff, because this all has to do with pricing, essentially. So every single person that creates an app and wants that app to be featured on Apple, on Amazon, on Roku, etc., they have to pay, right? There has to be some piece of the pie because, of course, the app will take up data on their servers, and they obviously need to support those apps and support those servers, right? So it makes sense that Roku and Amazon would want to get a piece of the pie. From what HBO has been saying, from what at&t has been saying, it's apparently that Roku and Amazon have been asking for rates that are not comparable to others, that they've not been given a fair shake, essentially, that the rates they were paying or whatever they paid to have HBO Go as an app on their service or HBO Now as an app on their service is not the price that they're going to have to pay or being asked to pay for HBO Max. Now, if I was HBO or AT&T, I would come to the table and I would just say, all right, let's just make a freaking deal, right? Let's meet in the middle somewhere. I think HBO is kind of like, no, we're not budging on the price. I think at this point they need to, because I've talked to too many people that, one, as you know, as Baxter said, are holding off because the price is too high. Baxter, I'm sorry, but I don't think the price is going to go down. With all the content that they're hosting, and with now them again consolidating all of their apps, it would make little sense financially for them to lower their price. But secondly, also, they could get so many more subscribers in like 24 hours if today they were to announce, hey, HBO Max app now live on Roku and Amazon. Because according to HBO, according to AT&T, they have the app ready to go. It's all said and done. They have it. It's ready. The only thing holding them back is, according to HBO, Amazon and Roku. And then, of course, Amazon and Roku would probably say the same thing about what's going on with HBO and AT&T, that they are the ones, apparently, that are not willing to play ball either, right? So basically, you have two situations, two things that are holding HBO back. One which they really can control, but they're not going to. But the other one that they absolutely can, right? So the one, of course, dropping the price, they're not going to do that. The second, though, they can. Making the deals with Roku and Amazon, whatever those deals might be, to get the services on there, because I'm telling you, AT&T, the amount of subscriptions that you'll be able to get because people can finally actually utilize your service will jump up tremendously. But you got to do something, and you got to act. And now a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members: Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, DivX, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, the Honker Chonker Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Get Your Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toone, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Lady T, Laura Story, who is the modern Major General, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, Orange at Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Ellen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, The DJD Show, and Tina B. Thank you all for being my Patreon members, and a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star members, Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2 Cool 99, Darkstar 57, Alex McCarthy, or J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadan G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all so very much for being my Patreon and Subscribe Star members. Seriously, you are the wind beneath my wings. You help keep the lights on. You help support things like the giveaways for my $5 and up backers, and also allow me to do a lot of the extra stuff for the channel, including the exclusive OMB podcast that I do every couple of weeks with John, the Flick Pick of the Flick Pick channel. And yeah, thank you so much for your support. Don't want to really drag it out too long this month. You guys are amazing and beautiful people. If you want to have a name shout out, if you want to have access to giveaways, podcasts, any of that kind of stuff, check the links in the description for Patreon and Subscribe Star. You guys rock. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.